Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, and welcome to a brand new episode of the One Piece Virgin podcast. In this episode, we're going to be concluding the Fishman Island arc, and joining us once again, the one and only guy that's totally not Mark. Totally not Mark.
It's Mark, not me. Hello.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yes. Yes, this time we waited a whole 4 seconds. Go ahead, Mark.
Every comment section has that, and the best thing about it is that every time I see that comment, you know the person behind it is like saying, "Oh, that's really clever." I bet no one's ever said that before, and I've heard it 10,000 times.
Yeah, that's literally Nux.
I bet you never heard that before.
But this is the third time Nux has said it to you.
I know, and also joining us, of course, Nux and Briggs.
Nux and Briggs.
Nuts and Briggs! All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Anime, take it away.
Actually, Nux, I have a few announcements before we
I knew that. Announcements time. Anime, take it away. Sorry for interrupting.
Thank you, Nux. Thank you. First up, we are starting a new podcast here in the Rank Cafe podcast empire. It's called The Dragon Ball Virgin. It's going to be hosted by my brother Gozen, also from Anime Uproar, and his friend who has never seen Dragon Ball. So they're going to be going through the entire series, starting with the original Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball Z, Super, and all that stuff. Check it out. It's going to be its own podcast, but it's also going to be airing on the Rank Cafe Twitch every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go through the whole Dragon Ball series, that's your opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some different guests coming on. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Can I just ask?
Yes,
how does there exist a person who hasn't seen anything from Dragon Ball? I mean, like, I feel like if I flew to Mars and went into a cave with my hands and fingers in my ears screaming, I would still figure out something about Dragon Ball. I feel like it's so prolific. Like, has this person legitimately never seen anything from it?
So I think he's probably, I know he's heard of Dragon Ball Z from back in the day and maybe seen a few episodes when he was a kid, but he never got into anime, so he never really got into Dragon Ball either.
Oh, that's mad. Huh.
Yeah.
Clearly, this man has not ever committed a full sexy command and Gaiden attack.
Yeah, so he's my brother's IRL friend. He's not an anime circles friend, so that is why he is a true
Normie!
A true
Normie! We're having normies on this channel now. Crucify me here.
I feel like
and I thought 2020 couldn't get any worse.
Okay, wait. What's the cutoff? So, like, how do you establish if someone's an anime normie? Because I feel like I am. I definitely feel like I am.
How many anime have you watched?
I don't know. Put it into perspective. I'm only seeing One Piece now.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
A lot of people hold
put
off on One Piece because it's so jarring and long.
Fuck it. I would say it's less anime. I actually don't know.
Do you have a top 10 list?
No.
Can you comprise a top 10? You're a normie. Okay.
Okay,
I probably could. Fuck you. I probably could.
All right, top 10 anime right here, right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, guys, new podcast, The Anime Normie, featuring Totally Not Mark.
Number 10.
Yo, Fish Cake Boys. Let's get back on topic. Oh, never mind. Another announcement.
Although, I am excited. Have you seen, like, Code Geass, Mark?
No, I actually haven't.
All right, Code Geass Virgin podcast will happen at some point.
Mark, have you seen Death Note?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everyone's seen Death Note, though.
Okay, fair enough.
And you've at least been to third base with anime if you've seen it.
Yeah. Death Note is fucking aggressively good, dude. It's so
for sure.
I wish I could see Death Note again. No, Death Note Virgin podcast would be sick. I gotta find one of those people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other announcement is just to thank everyone for all the support on the One Piece Virgin. We've been getting more and more downloads and more support, so thank you all. If you want to share the podcast with your friends in One Piece communities, anime fan communities, that would mean a lot to us. And for those who want to go the extra step to support us, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/rankcafe. And for this month, September, we are going to be doing a cool thing. You guys know we have a web novel that we're writing, an isekai based on Rank Cafe people, personalities. And we're going to have a contest where all our patrons are going to be able to enter this contest. And the winner will have their own island nation within our isekai world. You guys know we have a map now and everything. Geography is everything. So that is going to be a way of us giving back to our patrons by having a contest that'll allow you to have your own island nation. It's going to be freaking epic. Now let's talk about Fishman Island.
Fish Cake Boys.
Fish cake boy. I actually like eating fish. Out of curiosity.
I mean, it depends on the fish.
I love
seafood. Yeah,
so much.
Well, it depends on the fish. I'm sorry, man.
Neptunians.
I do like Neptunians.
That was a good swerve, actually. It's jumping way ahead to the fucking end now. Like I know, but
Sushi's pretty fire too.
Sushi is amazing.
But does that not depend on the fish either? Or are you just like any kind of sushi goes?
Well, honestly, it depends on the sushi, like as far as preference goes. But you just take some raw tuna, roll it in rice, and I will be happy.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I feel like tuna is very hit or miss for me with sushi. It just depends on the restaurant. Like sometimes it tastes...
Well, it needs to be fresh tuna.
Exactly. Got it.
I love how this is what we're talking about.
Fresh tuna. Honestly, though, underrated. Every sushi roll needs avocado. Period.
Avocado.
Screw you, Nux.
Get out.
Screw you, Nux.
I'm telling you, man.
Do you know that did I complain to you about this?
Yes, you have.
Okay. Because I was like, how the fuck does he know that I hate avocado? Wow, I must have really been
I'm too powerful.
Nux is a basic bitch confirmed. But yes, I do like avocado in my sushi as well. It's not necessary, but it's definitely a positive.
It because if you go to like a buffet where they serve sushi, they will put avocado in every single roll just to save on resources because avocado is cheaper than putting like good sushi.
My go-to favorite rolls are like, I mean, every place has different rolls. Like, I know in New York, Manhattan rolls generally are like the best roll, but my other favorite roll, almost everywhere, it's the Vanderdecken roll. It just hits the spot. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's relevant to Fish Cake Boys. I'm gonna get roasted so hard for my favorite roll, so I won't even say it.
Yo, Vanderdecken roll was a joke, Briggs.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Mine is a Rickroll.
Uh-huh.
And this whole podcast has been a Rickroll so far.
Yeah, Fish Cake Boys.
God damn it! Let's do this.
All right, so the big theme in this, obviously, is Hody and his new Fishman pirates being basically Fishman ISIS, right? So these guys are just extremists. They hate humans. They hate the human race. And it's funny because it's brought up in the arc that the new Fishman pirates are basically like the Celestial Dragons. They have the same type of view towards humans as Celestial Dragons have towards non-royals. And I found that very interesting because it's like two extremes. They're not on the same side, and yet they have very similar ideology because it's so based on hate and othering and blaming an enemy for all of your problems. Like the Hody blames humans for literally all of the problems of the Fishmen in history.
Even though he wasn't directly affected by them, which is so we couldn't mention this last week. So this is the second half of Fishman Island. I don't know if we've already said that. So we covered the first half last week, and so basically it's interesting because the first time we meet Fishman, we meet Arlong, and we see that Arlong hates humans and sees himself as being superior to humans, and that's why he does all these things to Nami, and Nami as a result kinda ends up hating Fishman. You see this cycle of hatred, but then later on you find out that Arlong, the reason why he hates humans isn't because he thinks he's superior. He does think he's superior, but a lot of it's derived from like how he was affected by humans in the past. The weird transition is Hody wasn't directly affected by humans, but rather it was as if hatred was passed down from generation to generation, which is very interesting.
Yeah. And it turns out in this arc, we learned at the beginning, in the beginning of the second half of the arc, we learned that Hody was the one who actually shot the queen all those years ago.
But he wasn't. He was the person who set it up.
He set it up, yes.
Oh, I thought he shot him and then he shot her and then he scapegoated the human, but did he just set it up and then?
I thought the human was like a mercenary he hired or something.
I thought he hired the human as well.
Yeah. No, I know the human was part of it. I just didn't know who pulled the trigger, but it doesn't matter.
He indirectly or directly shot someone. So
yeah, exactly. Hody set it up and he just scapegoated the human, which served two purposes for him. One was eliminate this queen, which was who was advocating for peace, and the other one was blame humans for her death, making the Fishman hate humans more. So he achieved two goals with that assassination.
Oh, apparently me and Mark were wrong. Chad is saying that Hody pulled the trigger.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe the human wasn't willing to do it. Because
I've never been wrong before.
The queen and Jinbei are able to realize that they have to put beside their hatred so that they don't affect the future generations. And Hody is so against this. He wants to spread hatred as much as possible.
Yeah, like I said, he's an extremist. And we see when he was a kid, he saw some fishmen who attacked humans and he considered them basically martyrs. And he worshipped these people who sacrificed their lives to attack humans, even if they killed innocent humans, because he believed that humans were so inferior. And he blamed all of the Fishman's problems on this generic idea of humans. If only these humans were gone, all of our problems will be solved. Which, any ideology that does that, that says, if only we didn't have these people, we wouldn't have any problems, that is right away like a cult-like extremist mentality that you should stay far away from.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I think this is kind of talking more structure, but like Fishman Island, I really enjoyed it, and I know a lot of people don't enjoy it, and for that, I kind of want to like address something that I think might be correlated with that. One thing I noticed when I was reading this was that it felt very distinct and very different to all the other arcs that I have seen or been involved with regarding One Piece so far. And
it's
by
much
that,
more theme based.
Oh yeah, but that's only one half of it. The other thing that I noticed as well, and I definitely do want to talk about the themes aspect of it as well, but like structurally speaking, from a narrative point of view, it's very linear. There are usually in One Piece there's secondary, tertiary stories that are going on, and they all interweave and interconnect at different points in the story to create surprise or whatever, right? But this one seems very it's one story and it's one point of view, and it's like we're always following one kind of thing. The only secondary story in the entire thing that I can really think of was the guys being tied up, but they maybe get one scene and they're out.
And then we get Brook doing his new cool thingy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's that one scene, but like other than that, it's Robin going to a poneglyph, and that really doesn't tie into anything until the very, very, very end.
Joy boy.
Yeah, exactly. So like from a structural point of view, this whole arc is very linear, and so there's so much information that's jam-packed into this one particular story thread that it can be kind of overwhelming. I remember saying to myself, actually, I was 2 volumes deep into the freaking story, and I remember saying to myself, I have to keep track of 31 different characters. There's so many characters that are introduced into this, and I'm like, who are these people? And the fact is that most of them don't even matter, So it's,
Yeah, like that's what One Piece does a lot. They introduce an entire new kingdom or nation, a bunch of new characters. Like, imagine all the work that has to go into actually designing all of these characters, coming up with their backstories, making them relevant to the story. Like, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But like the thing is that I think two volumes into the story, we have 31 people to remember, and when you have 31 people to remember, I don't want to dedicate my limited mental capacity to remembering the third in command in the Fishman pirate or something, who really only was part of one. He might have had 2 lines of dialogue in the entire thing.
Bro, that's like Tekking's bread and butter, bro.
Yeah,
Tekking has a video on that guy, I guarantee you. Yeah.
Yo, Mark, can you turn your audio up just a little bit?
Oh yeah.
By the way, his audio sounds fine on my end. Just.
No, chat was telling me
Oh, I don't know how to. 1 second.
And you guys are all the same.
Or you can just talk louder. That's what I do.
That is a tech master play there, Nuxie boy.
Right? 189 IQ.
Speaking of the random Hody pirates, I did think that Zio, the chameleon guy, was absolutely hilarious. How he refuses to admit defeat at any point, and at one point, Brook is stomping on his face. He's holding his foot on his face, and he's like, "Haha, I just headbutted you in your foot multiple times. Wait till the effect catches you. Your foot's gonna fall off." Kind of.
He was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
There are great funny moments throughout, and what you're saying about this being a much more linear arc, I think that this arc had a few very specific purposes, and it served those purposes. It wanted to introduce you to this major theme of racism in the story, which I think One Piece does almost better than almost any other story I've ever experienced. Ever.
I definitely agree with that. 100%. By the way, is my voice better?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, good.
You see the cycle, how it started off with Arlong, who we always thought was evil because he was racist to humans, and then we found out that he was evil because humans were racist to him, and the cycle just keeps going back. And I think they did a great job with that theme. The next thing that I think was very important was introducing the Straw Hats power-ups.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did it in a bombastic, fantastic way.
Yeah,
and
100%.
The third thing is just, minor questions answered and more questions raised about the world. With Joy Boy, with the weapons, with Big Mom. I think it had those 3 purposes. So as far as being linear on a more plot level, I didn't find that to be too much of a complaint.
Like I liked this for the same reason I liked the ship having like a soul and being able to talk. Like thematically that works perfectly. But like plot structurally, it wasn't foreshadowed and it kind of came out of nowhere. On a plot level, it didn't really work 100%, but on a thematic level, it was perfection. And I think the same thing goes for this arc. In that if you go into this arc looking for I say let me think, like looking for Alabasta, you're not going to be happy. But if you come into this arc looking for like a thematic message that's delivered upon in an effective way, you'll go home extremely satisfied.
Yeah, I think
which is why Animax Dick is really hard right now.
Yeah, I think it's funny because the anime community often criticizes shows that have arcs that are too similar. Like, oh, it's just repetitive. This is a long-running shonen, and every arc's pretty much the same. And then you have Oda who tries to change it up. And then he gets criticized for like, oh, Fishman Island was no Alabasta, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the thing is,
I like the fact that every environment's different. Every arc has a different theme. It's what makes One Piece One Piece.
That's the thing is that like Fishman Island definitely has its own identity. It has its own voice. When I think of Fishman Island now that I've finished it, now that I've digested it, I like it definitely has its own. It's not like anything else to me anyway.
Yeah, I think Nux made a good point. I think he also said this last week that Fishman Island doesn't really have great epic villains. Like Vanderdecker and...
Vanderdecken? How are you going to insult his name like that? This man is a legend. He upheld the legacy of the One Piece.
Okay, Vanderdecken and Hody are not epic villains. They can't compete with some of the villains we've had in the past. But because they're not these epic villains that you need the strongest of the strongest to defeat, we did get to see a showcase of the power-ups of all the different Straw Hats, including, say, Chopper and Usopp. It wasn't just, the strongest guys against the strongest guys. We saw the Chopper now has different forms, including...
Get to the Chopper!
Yeah, he's able to control his Berserker form now for like 3 minutes. We saw that Sanji has cool powers now. He's able to like walk on air like the CP9 guys. We saw that Robin apparently has the ability to manifest her whole body. No, not just limbs, eh? That was kind of crazy.
Well, she made feet.
No, but she also
would be the best Twitch streamer of all time.
Yeah. No,
she would have feet everywhere.
Nox, she manifested her whole body on Hody, I think, or someone.
I don't think that works the same way as her like extending limbs ability. I think that's more like a mirage of herself.
Yeah, it was like a clone, basically, that appeared out of his body and started twisting him.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing. There was other stuff, too.
And as far as the Chopper thing you mentioned, the way it was executed also is fantastic. Like, you had Chopper turn into the massive monster, and everyone's like, Chopper, we don't need to go that far. We can take them. Don't do this. And then Chopper just smiles at them. Like,
and then Sanji complimented him, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for the compliment." He's like, "Oh, bro, you look freaky with like in that monster form, being like, hey, thank you for the compliment."
And the contrast from like the first time we see Monster Chopper, it's all dark and grim. The sky's dark. His fur is dark and everything, and it's just like it's genuinely scary. And this one, he just looks so cute.
Yeah.
Also, we saw that Nami has. Her weather powers have been, way advanced.
I love how you mentioned Nami. She had the most pathetic power-up of all time, but you mentioned Nami. Okay, continue.
Okay, that's not true, you loser. Her powers are obviously cool. She can turn invisible now and stuff.
One thing I did like about Nami in this particular arc is that, like, okay, I think it's always bonus points when she isn't the damsel in distress, so that's hype. But
she did nothing in this arc.
Well, no, she did. She stole She stole something from the pile. What was the thing? The document from the Celestial Dragon. She stole that to kind of like prevent it from being burnt or something. Did she?
Yeah, I believe so.
She was pretty useless this arc. But anyway.
That's significant. Next question.
You had Jinbei punching big pink fish thing.
Yeah, Jinbei has crazy power.
Just trying to avoid talking about Luffy, just his best scene ever.
Yes, of course we're waiting.
There we go.
Yeah, so Luffy had a lot of power-ups. Like, his Haki has really been mastered. We saw him using Conqueror's Haki to kill off, or not kill off, like...
Knockout.
Render unconscious 50,000 NPCs.
Dude, that was so hype.
He was also using Armament Haki. He was using Observation Haki, like, a lot. and he was crushing it. It was crazy.
Dude, that scene was so well done. You got 100,000 pirates against 10 Straw Hats, right? And Sanji's legit like, I guess we gotta take out 10,000 each, all nonchalantly. And you see Luffy push both Sanji and Zoro aside. And they're just like, what the hell is this guy doing? He walks into the crowd of 100,000 people and knocks out 50,000. You see the OST play. I mean,
dude, you know what's even more badass than that in some way? You had Zoro saying, if he didn't take out at least that many, I wouldn't even be able to consider him a captain anymore.
No, I would have to take the role as captain.
Yeah, yo!
And then he gets mad at Luffy. He's like, bruh, like, you 50,000 is going a little overboard, don't you think? Leave some for the rest of us.
And when he was fighting that octopus guy, like, he was attacking him with like 1 billion swords, and Zoro blocks them and says, you're not even enough to keep me from getting bored.
Yes. And that guy is the strongest, is the best swordsman on Fishman Island. Yeah.
So, Mark, what was your question?
I've got a question regarding the hockey thing, because this was kind of bugging me throughout, and I just kind of like put it to the back of my mind just so I could enjoy the arc and whatever. But Luffy can do that and knock out 50,000 people. I'm guessing it's like a proximity thing or something, right? That's my assumption.
And also because they're weak. They're really weak, the opponents.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of when Shanks walked up to Whitebeard and knocked out a lot of the Whitebeard pirates. Like, his will overpowered theirs.
So is the reason why he wasn't able to use that on Hadi, was the reason why that wasn't a thing was because he was too strong or something?
Yes, it's more for like fodder, honestly.
Yeah, it's for you take out M.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And we also got to see his other forms of hockey as well that Animac was touching on.
Yeah.
I can't believe how Animac was like, so we saw Luffy do some hockey things, knocked out a few thousand guys.
Okay, to be fair, for me anyway, the most hype moment of the entire arc was after what you were talking about. It was Luffy was kind of walking through a fucking hurricane of fucking battle and people happening, and like he wasn't even worried about being hit by anything because his crew was clearing the way for him until he was getting to Holy or something. That was sick. That was sick.
Yeah.
I love
some good teamwork there. Like, that was an epic moment when all the Straw Hats are together and they're like, we have 100,000 pirates, and they're like, yeah, let's get it done, bitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he had some pretty good moments also when Hody says, I'm going to become the king or whatever, and Luffy says, nah, I'm the only one that's going to become the king.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Hody was just he was just basically a roid raging Fishman. That's what we were.
Like, thing is, like, right, Hody, like, I'm gonna call him Hody because that's what I fucking read him as for the entire thing. So I'm gonna get shouted in the comments for like mispronouncing his name, but whatever. Okay, so he's Hody to me. I actually kind of I totally understood why he was the way that he was. He's not a crocodile. He's not a charismatic villain. He's not supposed to be. He's there specifically to embody what Orihime wanted not to happen to the future generation. He is an example of someone who wasn't affected at all directly by the racism and prejudice like from the humans, but he inherited it from everybody else. And so he's an extreme example used to help make the example of what could potentially happen if Orihime's wishes don't come to fruition and they don't end up embracing forgiveness and instead embrace hatred. That's what he's supposed to be, an embodiment of hatred. Boom.
Yeah.
Drops Mike. Well done.
Yeah.
QED. Next question.
Funniest scene in the entire arc. I think we got to it. Definition of hero. Animac. Go.
Oh, when Luffy says he doesn't want to be a hero?
Yes. So the whole thing is he didn't, like, Jinbei did not want Luffy to just go and kick Hody's ass. Right? Because Luffy clearly stronger than Hody. He didn't want him to go and make a scene and just destroy these people that are like fighting for Fishman's rights, essentially. Like, because even though he's protecting Fishman Island in a way, the people watching or people that hear about it would just think, wow, just another human pirate taking out a Fishman. It's just another day on Fishman Island. Jinbei wanted to set it up in a way where Luffy was the hero, and Luffy's like, no, I don't want to be a hero. Heroes are the type of people when there's meat, they share their meat. I want all the meat.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm not a hero, I'm a pirate. No, that was good.
I love heroes, but I don't want to be one.
To be honest, right? That conversation between Jinbei and Luffy, that was, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that conversation between Jinbei and Luffy, that was my favorite conversation of the entire arc. It's actually something that really makes me think of that conversation Luffy had with Usopp back in Water 7. It's something that's incredibly nuanced. You can totally see both sides of the argument and stuff. You can totally understand why Luffy is saying what he is, and it's entirely in character for him to think and act that way, and for him to say what he's saying. But there's such a nuance to it, and like you have to be tactful about how you approach the situation because it's very nuanced and it's a very complicated situation, much more complicated than simply I gotta punch this guy super hard because he's the bad guy. You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the nuance of the situation. I like how they kind of had to be tactful about it. That was really interesting.
And I think Jinbei's a really interesting character. Just his whole backstory, his approach, his Fishman karate. He's just like this, like I don't know, martial arts sensei.
You know what's fucking weird about One Piece? Like One Piece is like the only action shonen that like I don't even think it is an action shonen. Like would you categorize One Piece as an action shonen? Because like it always skips over the training. It always skips over learning a particular move. Like for instance, Brook just suddenly knew how to do this move when he needed to. That's felt
well, he learned it over the time skip.
No, I understand that, but like
first of all, Mark, by your extremely intense, vigorous wisdom in the entire genre of action shonen, how many have you seen to base this off?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Is that like I haven't seen all of them, obviously.
You've only seen Dragon Ball.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, you haven't seen Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece.
I've seen My Hero Academia. I've seen.
Okay, that's barely. One Punch Man's not an action shonen.
It is. It is.
No, it's not a shonen.
Okay, the point is, I get what Mark's saying. I would say it is action because fights are a major aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's done well. It's done really well.
Look, I'd say it at the end of the day, it is definitely a shonen anime, and I think things like it being an adventure is much more of a prevalent genre.
That's true.
Than action, but it definitely has action.
No, I'm not saying it. First of all, I'm not saying it doesn't have action. All I'm saying is that I just thought it was kind of, it's not a bad thing. I'm just making an observation that it's sort of an interesting choice not to show anyone learning any move. That like they just have it.
Yeah, you're right. They don't really have training arcs. They don't have training arcs, right?
I kind of respect it.
I do too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's something that I noticed.
And the thing with Jinbei is, someone mentioned in the chat, he had a really cool and emotional moment with Nami, where Nami kind of forgives him for the fact that he unleashed Arlong upon the East Blue and made her suffer. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool too, because clearly Jinbei's not a bad guy, but some of the actions he took had consequences that were negative for innocent people, like what Arlong ended up doing.
Yeah, and I really like the idea. I really like that they drew attention to the kind of like contrast between Nami being like wearing Arlong's tattoo and then changing it to like to represent her own freedom, and then that's a direct comparison then made to the fishermen who were enslaved, changing it then to the sun. That I thought was like a really cool kind of like duality of slavery to freedom kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, it shows that there's two sides to this, and extremes on both sides are bad and hurt innocent people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you hold on to hatred in any way, you just become exactly what you ended up hating. Yeah, it's really cool.
And the other thing is, Jinbei was invited by Luffy to join the Straw Hats, and he said he has to pass for now. But, who knows what happens?
Who knows? Maybe one day he'll be top 5 Straw Hats.
Why did you make your top 5 Straw Hats?
Let's just forget it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself.
What happened? Tell me.
No, I don't know. It's an inside joke between him and Nux that I don't understand.
I was holding myself back, Brig.
Moving on, I actually thought.
I need to know. Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at them?
No. They're not laughing at anyone. They're laughing at their own inside joke. Don't worry about it. So one thing that I thought was really interesting, like obviously we had the action stuff and all that cool stuff, but the most interesting thing to me was the world building about the Void Century, about Joy Boy, the Neptunians, Noah, Poseidon. Like I thought that stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I had a fucking theory. What was it about again? Fuck, 1 second. It was about Shanks. I thought, okay. Well, first things first. the whole thing with Luffy being able to hear the Neptunians, I think that's fucking sick. But
Yeah, that was interesting.
What I thought was really cool though was that we actually got to see a little bit of Roger's own experiences with that, and or at least we've been led to believe so far that he wasn't aware that he had that power. So, this is me putting my thinking cap on. Luffy's still young. There are people that potentially might know or be able to inform him that he has this ability, or he might be able to learn. And if he does learn that he has this ability and he becomes aware of it, he could have one more thing in his arsenal that Roger didn't have, which could work in his favor.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of assumptions you're making. Like, for example, the assumption that Roger didn't have it.
Well, no, Roger did have it, but I'm just saying maybe he wasn't aware of it.
Mm.
And it looks like he wasn't, because in the flashback that we did see in the manga anyway, we saw him basically just like wonder what's that talking. He didn't understand that it was the Neptunians beneath the ship that were making the noise.
Yeah, so the Mermaid Princess is the Mermaid Princess is like this legendary figure that shows up every few centuries, and she is able to communicate and command the Neptunians. However, everyone else shouldn't be able to understand them, but we learned that Roger did, and Luffy appears to. So that was an interesting little thing. And also then related to that, we got all of the stuff about Noah, the big Ark ship, ancient ship, which is said to fulfill a prophecy. We got the whole Joy Boy thing, Joy Boy being this person who lived on the surface during the Void Century, and the poneglyph is an apology to the princess, a legendary mermaid princess who was at that time alive on Fishman Island. So that was a thing. Poseidon, it was revealed that the princess herself is the ancient weapon Poseidon, and there's two others, Pluton, which we've heard of, and Uranus. So yeah, like Uranus could destroy the world, guys.
I gotta like the poneglyphs really they really throw me for a loop, because I really don't know what to believe or think about when I think about them now. Because okay, it made sense that one of the poneglyphs were pointing in the direction of Fishman Island because that's where the weapon was, and it turned out to be the person that could control the Neptunians. Great gravy, that makes sense. But now there's just a random poneglyph lying around acting as effectively a fucking an apology note. Why is that something that needs to have been written down on a poneglyph? Or were poneglyphs just around as things that could be used? I don't know.
You will definitely find out a lot more about poneglyphs. In the next part of the Grand Line.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty random thing. Whole statue just for an apology.
Well, not just a whole statue, but these are things that can't be destroyed. Why was it important to preserve this particular piece of information?
Mm-hmm.
That's that's what I'm thinking. Also, this is when they were initially making their way down to Fishman Island, Rayleigh was watching him go down there with tears in his eyes, remembering back fondly to when Roger first approached him, and Roger looked weirdly like Luffy, in terms of his smile, what he was wearing, everything.
The straw hat,
exactly, right. And here's my crazy theory, right? Okay, what if that's the same straw hat? I feel like we're led to believe that that's supposed to be the same straw hat, right? But even if it isn't, right, let's assume for the sake of argument it is. How the fuck did Shanks come across getting that hat? Now, what if Shanks all this time is the bad guy? What if all this time Shanks was around Luffy and decided to kind of help him, when he was a kid and gave up his arm for him? What if he has some vested interest in keeping Luffy alive? And I think it would be really cool for the fact that the main villain and the main good guy of the story were both in chapter 1. I feel like that would be really cool. I feel that would make sense. I feel I don't know. I feel like there's something to that. I feel I don't know.
Well,
man, I love watching One Piece versions. This is hilarious.
Yeah, this is great.
I assume that because Roger, Shanks was on Roger's ship, so I just assumed that they became friends and he gave him the hat.
Yeah, the common assumption, or what we are led to believe, is that what's it called? I guess before Roger died, or at some point during Roger's journey, he passed down his hat to Shanks, and then at some point Shanks passes it down to Luffy. Right? That's what we're led to believe.
Okay, fine, but so yeah, but the thing is, right? Rayleigh, Shanks was just a random fucking guy in his ship. He wasn't a high-ranking officer. That's like Luffy giving his hat to fucking Brook or something. instead of Zoro
This
or
man
Nami.
just disrespected Brooke like that. God
But
damn.
Brooke isn't a Zoro, you know what I mean? Like,
I know it was a joke. It was a joke.
yeah. But like, but the thing is, right?
But imagine Kobe was on the ship. Could you see Luffy giving the hat to Kobe prior to his
that's
death?
the thing.
There we go.
Yeah. So like, it seems sort of weird. So like, basically, what I'm saying is we don't know really anything yet about Shanks' backstory.
That is
or anything
very
like
true.
that.
We know nothing about Shanks.
Exactly. And so like, what I'm saying is that we know that Roger got sick, so he could have been poisoned or whatever, right? He basically became terminally ill. That's weird. That's a nebulous way of explaining something away. What if he was sabotaged? And what if Shanks sabotaged him? What if something like that happened? And then the real hero of the story is Buggy. You know?
I mean, I've been saying this the whole time. Buggy will become Pirate King. I mean,
you see, the thing is, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like it would be genius to have the motivation for the hero of the story be ultimately the person who he needs to overcome at the end in a massive way because he's evil, or not evil, but he has his own agenda that he wasn't aware of the entire time. I feel like that would be really cool.
And I thought that the whole Mermaid Princess, not necessarily being reincarnated, but the fact that she shows up, this legendary princess shows up every few centuries in another body, I thought that was interesting in terms of perhaps the will of D having a similar effect.
ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing these theories because a lot of them are obviously theories that I've heard before. Like the Shanks is bad theory is something.
Oh, obviously, yeah. That's pretty low.
But also, I believe that there was like a prequel that showed Shanks crying or something, like when Roger died. So he's a good actor. But like the theory that I came up with on this arc, I'm always proud of the theories that I come up with and that I didn't see. As I'm sure you can understand. Do you know where Fishman Island is located?
It's right beneath the red line, isn't it?
And it's beneath the Majora, right?
Right,
Majora,
Mary Joy or whatever. It's directly beneath it, right?
Yeah.
So what was the prophecy that we had in this arc?
Oh, that Straw Hat would bring an end to Fishman Island or something?
No, it said that Straw Hat will blow up Fishman Island.
Bring ruin to.
Bring ruin, yeah.
Bring ruin to, yeah.
What if Luffy finds a way to blow up Fishman Island in a way that it rockets the entire island upward and just completely takes out Mary Joy, and it becomes the island that lives on the surface because that's what they wanted the whole time.
That's so funny. I was thinking the opposite. That would be amazing because if it becomes an island that lives on the surface, that's literally what the Queen wanted. But I was always thinking that Luffy at one point in the story is just going to wreak havoc on Mary Joy. He's going to go on a rampage. Exactly. Maybe there's a war there or something. And then all of it's going to fall down towards Fishman Island, and that's how he destroys Fishman Island.
Exactly. I was thinking.
Well, anyway, what you're mentioning, I think, is an existing theory. Like, people discuss it. But what if it's the other way around? That he rockets Fishman Island up to Mary Joy?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, like with the whole sun tree and stuff. You know, that tree that goes all the way from the ocean up to the top.
Yeah, there's so my brain hurts trying to think about that because like that's not how like physics works. But like if they're 30,000 feet under the sea, like the molecules in the water are what stops the friggin' sun from getting down there. So I just want for the idea that there's sun 30,000 feet beneath the surface of the ocean is fucking crazy to me.
No, I know. Like who even comes up with that? Like Oda really is like obviously you can't take our world's physics.
Fair, I'm taking issue with the fact that there's light down at the bottom of the ocean, but I'm accepting the fact that there's a rubber man that's like, you know.
I know.
So, like,
no, I mean it was really interesting, and I just kind of go with it because it's not physically accurate in terms of the laws of physics of our world, but it's cool.
Laws of physics. Luffy, awesome scene, amazing scene. He uses like the Red Hawk or Fire Hawk attack.
Yeah.
Underwater.
Yeah,
like he was in his little bubble thing, air bubble.
Yeah,
the fire was literally in the water, and it's an amazing homage to Ace, who just died in like the 2 arcs ago. But
2 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
That was 2 years.
Bro, Ace is dead. Sorry,
I was so lucky. I was so lucky that I was spoiled for that.
I can't believe that did not get spoiled for you, man.
No, I mean, like again, like I didn't appear in anything like this or anything regarding I just didn't engage with any. I didn't see the word One Piece on my timeline for like the entire duration of my time reading One Piece. Like I had 2 people that were reading comments for me. Like they went to extreme efforts to make sure that I wasn't spoiled when they found out that I wasn't spoiled at the very beginning.
Well,
nice. That's really
impressive.
Cool of them.
By the way, another really cool thing that happened in this arc that was just kind of mentioned in passing was who is the current fleet admiral of the Marines?
Oh, the fucking Akainu.
Yeah, so we had two things, two big things at the end. We had the whole Akainu versus
PG.
Aokiji
battle for who's going to be the new fleet admiral after Sengoku stepped down. And Akainu won after like a 10-day epic duel. And Aokiji then left the Navy altogether.
But like, why did he lose again? Was it like he didn't want to kill him or something, or what?
I think it was just overpowered eventually.
Yeah, I think
okay.
He just lost, but then he even left the whole Navy. He didn't go back to his old position. So that was very interesting because we knew Aokiji wasn't quite on board with the world government and shit. So this opens things up a lot. And then the other big thing that we saw was Blackbeard has become one of the 4 emperors. He has basically replaced Whitebeard and taken a bunch of his territory. And we also met Big Mom at the end of this.
Yeah.
Well, we also learned about a certain war, no? There was a payback war.
What?
Was there?
Was that not mentioned in this arc?
No.
I think it comes up shortly.
I think Blackbeard went to war with like the territories of Whitebeard. But
well, like, it stands to reason that something like that would happen anyway, so, I mean.
Anyway,
Marco versus Blackbeard, it did happen in this. They talked about it, where Blackbeard went with, there was a little bit of a post-war fight.
I vaguely remember Marco being mentioned, actually. That makes sense.
God damn it. That was the payback war. It was Marco and his boys taking up Whitebeard's flag, and they attacked Blackbeard.
This didn't happen in this arc, man.
It happened. It was just mentioned.
It was mentioned.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. You shouldn't talk about that because clearly it's not supposed to be mentioned.
All right, fine. Didn't happen.
Anyway, at the very, very end, the crew enters the new world after making a target of themselves, thanks to Luffy, for Big Mom. So now they're going into the new world with Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors, wanting to get Luffy because he said that he ate all her sweets, and that's why Fishman Island can't deliver their rations for the month. And he did that because he doesn't want the Fishman Island itself to be destroyed. So now the Straw Hats are going into the new world, and if that's not dangerous enough already, Big Mom has her eyes set on them. And
let's not forget that PCOM's had an epic duel with Caribou, right?
Oh, yeah, Caribou, yeah.
Caribou for Straw Hat.
It's also ironic that like Luffy ended up like, you know, he made a point about like heroes are the people that shared their meat. He ends up sharing all of his money, like giving all of his money away just
because you can't eat money, Mark.
Yeah, you can't eat money, bro.
You can use money to buy more meat, but like, does he make that connection? I don't know.
Although Nami was pissed. Nami was pissed when he's like, "You gave away all our fucking treasure."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Caribou served one purpose, and that was to establish that Logia isn't necessarily that OP because he was beaten by a zone fruit user.
Well, he was just punched in the stomach, like no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing that was a result of using zone fruit and hockey together, right?
Yes. So what very often happens is if you have a Logia fruit, you're OP, like in like East Blue, South Blue, anywhere you want, even like the beginning of the Grand Line, you're overpowered because people most often can't use hockey. So they can't touch you. You can do whatever you want. But because of that, people like Caribou get these big bounties, and then they'd run to the first person that could use hockey, and they're screwed.
Can't touch this.
We also had Tashigi and Smoker show up briefly.
Very briefly.
Tashigi has longer hair, which, as you guys know, is a big yes from me.
Thank you, Animac.
Hey, Animac. Did we get a certain phone call?
What phone call?
Was there a phone call this arc? Did Luffy answer the phone?
He talked to Big Mom, yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's like we can't just gloss over that part.
Yeah, that was when he said that he's the one who ate the desserts in order to spare Fishman Island from being destroyed. Yeah, that's when he makes enemies out of her.
Because the fact they weren't making candy, or the factory got destroyed during the fight or something, and Big Mom needs to collect her candy, so Luffy actually covered for them and made an enemy of a Yonko.
And she recently...
Briggs, you kind of zoned out. This was mentioned.
We were just talking
about it, but like briefly, bro.
Has anyone actually noticed that like anytime Luffy ever engages with like anyone who's been around for a while, like Big Mom or Whitebeard or whatever, or even Shanks, like who he is always ends up rubbing them the right way, or like I get a feeling that they end up remembering like Roger or something and just seeing Roger in him.
I mean, I don't think Big Mom was like, "Ooh, he ate my candies, but also stood up to me." Hell yes, good lad. I will always be friendly with you now.
She was a bit like that, like she kind of like. I definitely think she respected him.
Yeah, but I think she'll still try to eat him alive. But
definitely.
He said into the phone thing, he's like, "I'll make Fishman Island my territory," and then it like cut Big Mom with her eye like twitching.
Yeah, and there was also learned that there was a pastry island that was also supposed to give her pastries, and then they didn't deliver, and she burned the whole thing down. So like she's serious about that. Yeah, she's serious about this stuff. So Luffy did literally save Fishman Island.
I'm also anticipating Sanji's crippling disappointment when he realizes that Big Mom isn't in fact what he wants.
Yeah, no. So it's interesting.
The same disappointment was echoed throughout Animax's entire body. He heard Mom and Big, and he was excited.
Looks like.
Well, I mean, I was aware of the character before.
I wasn't at all. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting design. It looks like
I was aware of the character design, but I didn't know anything else about her. And then we did see like a silhouette, and I was like, oh, I've seen that person before.
No, I've only ever seen silhouette in the manga. So
yeah, in the manga there was a silhouette, but it was very like dark.
Yeah.
So for Sanji, I do want to say that his whole 2 years on the Drag Queen Island actually really contributed to his like mental strength and physical strength, because he suffered so much, the poor guy, that he now is like nothing anymore gets to him, because someone's like, oh, I'm gonna get you. This is like, you don't know what I've been to for 2 years, bro. That this means nothing to me. And so now I feel like a lot stronger mentally and physically.
This man went through a Chad formation. He ran until he could fly.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I wish Sanji would just commit to one girl, bro. Like commit to like Robin or Nami or one girl, and then you'll have a chance. But if every girl sees that you're just going from one girl to another, they're gonna be like, I'm not gonna be with this dude.
Meanwhile, Animax simps over a different NPC every arc of One Piece.
Not true. Nami's my number one, but I do love other girls as well.
What about Khalifa though?
Yeah, she's so hot though. Like I'm not saying she has the best personality, bro.
Robin is way cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Not personality wise, but like Khalifa's fine.
Yo, in your top
fishnets, 10, dude.
In your top 10 Straw Hat list, Mark, I have to say, respect for putting Luffy number one. Hell yes. I have nothing but respect for it. But
I feel like you're trolling me.
bruh. Number 2, bruh.
I love Robin. I think she's way cool.
Number 3, bruh.
Hey, he's fucking Usopp surely isn't a controversial.
Oh, Usopp was number 3. Oh, my bad. Yeah, you're right. I mixed up 2 and 3.
Who do you think? Who do you think was number 2?
Robin number 2.
Robin's sick.
Bro, listen. The point is, I relate most still to Nami in terms of personality, but obviously, if you're talking about like epic, funny characters and strong characters, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro are stronger and funnier and all that type of stuff. But in terms of relating to a character, Nami gets me, bro. We get each other.
Oh, Nami's way. I think Nami's unreal. I think she's a great character. Like the only thing is, like, I feel like the only controversial take that I had was probably putting Zoro like middle of my list.
Well, I mean, you put Zoro like 5 or 4. 5?
Yeah, I think it was 5. Yeah.
Who was 4 again?
Nami.
Right.
Yeah, it was like Luffy, Robin, Usopp, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, Chopper, Frankie. Brooke?
I would love to see this list redone in like 4 arcs.
Oh, I have no doubt that I'm going to redo the list again once I catch up, because it'll be great.
Nice. What was I going to?
No one understands Zoro.
I guess no one understands him. That's why they don't appreciate him. We didn't mention that Frankie has a bunch of power-ups too and gadgets and shit.
Super.
Yeah, he's basically like a mecha now.
I actually don't like his current state as much as his former one.
I know I liked his hair more before, but I feel like Oda was like, you know what?
Change his hair at will. What a legend.
Well,
yeah, exactly. I know, but Oda's like
hair. It's more so like he's less. He looks so much less human, and therefore I find it much harder to relate to him now.
I mean, that is a good point, and like
I feel
like
look with you, bro. Did you learn nothing from the entire Fishman arc?
Bro, he used to wear a Speedo. He used to have that hair. Now,
Probably still does wear a Speedo.
But
Like,
you can't
basically,
see it.
he looks more robot now than person.
He does, yeah.
I also preferred pre-time skip Frankie, but I've come
but
to
he
love
has
him. With every arc, I love him more post-time skip and his
He has
design.
nipple lights.
Like, again, I don't dislike him. I actually really like him, but I just preferred him before. That's all I'm saying.
Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This was the Fishman Island second half. The hype was real through the roof. We learned
You
about
sound so
friendship.
hyped right now, Nux. Thank you so much for being hyped.
We learned about each other. We learned about Animax's preference in women, and his preference is women.
How dare you? How dare you say that I would ever bring my own personal biases about sexy waifus into this professional podcast? I would never do that.
Thank you for clarifying. Next arc, the Punk Hazard arc, begins at chapter 654, and we are going to 675. Mark it down, people.
21 chapters. Okay, that's
21
reasonable.
chapters.
I reading the whole thing.
Tell me this: is Punk Hazard related to Dr. Vegapunk?
You want me to answer that?
No, don't. I don't. I
Fine,
don't know.
don't
It was a
answer.
joke. It was a joke. I was never gonna do that ever.
It definitely is, though, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
guessing it-
definitely think it is, but whatever.
Unless it's all about punk music, and then we're all wrong.
And we get a very Brook heavy arc. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Brooke goes through like an image transformation.
He's already gone through the image transformation. Actually, out of curiosity, because I wasn't part of the kind of conversation last week, do you prefer anyone's designs now more than their original ones, or what?
Oh, Nami.
Well,
for
I
sure.
prefer now that Zoro has the Sharingan. I think that's definitely an improvement.
So I like Nami's long hair a lot, and I like her, development as a character. So I'm definitely and I mean Robin looks good too. Not gonna lie.
I actually preferred Robin's hair the other way, to be honest.
I like her this way too.
I mean, it's
Well,
a
I like them both ways. But...
hair versus bigger bobs. Sometimes, you got to make the
Oh
call.
god, I just don't care. Like, it's just paper. I mean, come on.
Oh no, not you! You're
Whoa,
not that
you
guy.
made an
You're not
enemy.
that guy.
Just made
Don't.
an enemy of anime.
Oh, bro, don't make me talk about how anime waifus are morally superior to 3D waifus. Don't make me do it. Don't make
Well, I
me
mean,
do it.
like, I don't like either of them that way. To be perfectly, actually, no.
Wow.
In a Goofy movie, when I was a kid, I thought Roxanne was cute. So I don't know.
So you're a furry too? Oh,
What?
Mark.
Roxanne is so like I don't know. Again, I guess I've been outed, huh?
I know Mark's like, I don't like 2D waifus, but I like furry girls.
I don't like. I mean, like, to be honest, I get the appeal. It's just
Okay,
not my
I'm going to
thing.
quickly draw the conversation away from this because I see it's going nowhere and spiraling into nothing. The blood transfusion between Jinbei and Luffy was amazing and symbolic to the fact that Fisher Tiger wasn't willing to take blood from humans and that Sanji was only taking and Sanji couldn't take blood from Fishman.
Yeah.
And it was very epic. And I thought that was awesome. And with that said and done, I have a really cool thing that I want to tell you about One Piece, but I'm afraid because of Mark, he would. It's not a spoiler, but it might be a spoiler for Mark.
All right, so let's not get into it then. But yeah, that was a quick moment, Nux. You're right, but we shouldn't gloss over it because it was really cool, really symbolic. And
Which is
again,
why I said-
Jinbei.
Which you weren't.
Jinbei is a really cool character. I really like him so far.
Jinbei is a cool character. Top 5 characters ever.
Five Straw Hats. Is it?
Yo, Mark, as if he'll be a straw hat.
I mean, it looks like he will, but
I know. I think he will, but I don't know if he'll end up like getting killed or something to piss Luffy off for some sort of.
I mean, like, it feels like as soon as Luffy decides someone's going to be a Straw Hat, it's like inevitable until they do. So I don't know.
Except for our tree boy from Thriller Bark, that was a disappointment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Tree boy deserved better. But all right,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mark, again for your time. Really enjoying your series on your YouTube channel. Totally Not Mark. Check it out, everybody. Thank you, Nux and Briggs.
Nux and Briggs!
Briggs and Ducks.
And until next time, next week, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.